Good day to answer questions. Good day to answer questions. All right. Let's roll.
Chip, how much of Jacoby's progression has sort of been able to have a better, for lack of a better word, better pocket presence? It seems like he's stepped into it a lot more Saturday.
Yeah, I think really he's really most of the year been pretty good at that. I mean, I think that's one of the positive things that I noticed about him early on was, Drake would take off and run. I'm sure Sam did the same thing. I've seen all the video, and Jacoby's done enough of that. But really what I like about him is he's gotten rid of the ball, even sometimes if we broke down in protection or whatever. And I do think there's some natural with quarterbacks about having, like you said, pocket presence where you understand. And some of that, I think, comes with understanding protections and where you're vulnerable and where you're not vulnerable, and what, helping the tackles out, sometimes stepping up if you're able to, and but at the same time keeping your eyes downfield, and that's really hard. And some people struggle with that. And so far, I think he's really shown that he's capable of doing that. And that's something I really didn't know about him, right? Because in fall camp and stuff, you don't hit the quarterback really, right? He's kind of he's protected. So as we've played, that's one of the things I've been really pleasantly surprised about was his ability to have great pocket presence and be able to step up. And we're going to have to keep doing that. We're going to play some good pass rushers here down the stretch, and hopefully we can keep building on that.
You mentioned the vulnerabilities, and the tackles have gotten beat off the edge, but it looks like, especially with Banfield healthy and Lasky more and more healthy, but that core there has been able to keep it out of his hands.
I think they did a nice job Saturday. Number 90 for Virginia is a really good player. He's one of the better ones in our league, and I think we kept him from pushing the pocket into Jacoby's face. I think you're very, very accurate on that. And our tackles, getting run around is one thing, but getting those guys pushed past the pocket point is really important too. So, for instance, if it's quick game or the ball's coming out quicker, they don't have to. He's not getting versus certain coverages, certain pressures, and so forth. He really is doing a lot better job too of getting our protection right. That's something that he's grown into, I think. Whether we need to flip the protection the other way and get the slide going a certain way or whatever. So, I just think it's part of his growth, and so far, really pleased with the last 2 or 3 weeks in that area.
You told us after the game Saturday that saw the for him, and an example was the throw he made to Chris Culliver, where he rolled to the right and Culliver kind of came back and he saw him and made the throw. Is that an example of a game maybe slowing down to a guy who's just getting experience?
It's probably a really good example because a lot of young quarterbacks, when they take off like that, he left the pocket, they don't keep their eyes downfield, and they're so worried about making the right decision, running it or so forth. But I think that's a great point. Knowing where those receivers are shows his growth. Understanding, hey, this was this kind of route, so the receivers should be in this area. And then I think Culliver did a nice job of coming back to the ball and being friendly for the quarterback. And so I think that is a great example. When the game's going really fast for quarterbacks, they struggle seeing down the field, or they're staring at the rush or so forth. So he's doing a nice job of that right now. Just got to continue to do it.
What stood out to you about the way J.J. Jones played Saturday? I mean, you had like the elusiveness and the acceleration on the bubble screen, and then you had the concentration and the balance on the ball in the end zone. I mean, as a coordinator and play caller, like what popped to you about what he was doing?
Yeah, I think he's it shows he made contested catches on the touchdown right before half, which is big. When you can do that, the quarterback can give you a chance to get your hands on it and you can go make a play. I think that's always nice. And then what I really liked was on the tunnel screen, he finished the play. He went and scored. A lot of times we've thrown that play several times this year, and we hadn't really. It's always been a positive play, but we hadn't broke one like that. So I love to see that he ran through some tackles and finished. And, JJ's played a lot. He's a veteran guy, and we're going to need him to continue to do that down the stretch.
The run after the catch was, we've seen him play a long time now. I don't know if he's had that kind of.
I don't either. He's a big guy, and so he can break tackles, I just think, from sheer size. And, we need him to keep doing it for sure.
Chip, the 1 minute drill before halftime. Coach Brown said that was the play of the game, the touchdown to JJ there at the end. Was that the cleanest you guys have executed that, in practice or in a game this season? I mean, it looked like there was no panic at all. Everyone knew what they were doing. Maybe so. And I think it speaks to Jacoby and how he's continued to get comfortable. That was one of those situations where, it was, hey, if it's not there, we'll throw it away. We think we're in field goal range, and
if for some reason we're in bounds, we got to clock it quick, and that would have been hard to do with him way down the field. So the thought was, hey, we'll take this shot on a double move, and if we hit it, great. If not, throw it out, and we'll try to kick the field goal. Or we'll have time to throw a little short out and get out of bounds. And, it's really good execution. The pass protection was really good. The tight end and running back were involved in that with the O-line. And great job by J.J. going and getting the ball. And I think Jacoby, we threw that same play early in the game, and Jacoby missed it. They threw it out of bounds, and really was kind of late getting to it. And, good job by him of understanding that and really getting the ball out on time and giving J.J. a chance.
Would you have taken that shot with Jacoby like a month ago, or is this part of the confidence in him that he can make that play and it wouldn't mean anything dangerous?
No, that's a good question. I think I would have. We had the play in, because of the coverage we thought we were going to get, but maybe not. Maybe I'd have, been more conservative. But I think the more he plays and the more comfortable he's gotten, and like you mentioned earlier, he's shown he can handle things. Then it makes you, as a play caller, be more confident. And I knew we were playing good defense. I knew that our defense was playing really well, and I thought, if we can get some points here, then it'd be huge. And that was the thought there, and he did a great job executing it.
He liked how Amari was able to kind of get the ball in space, out of the backfield, in the receiving game, things like that.
Yeah.
It seems that this year there's been a little bit more. I know we had, this year last year, but it seems like this year's kind of been more often. What's been the process of, being able to get him those catches out of the backfield?
I think, when you're trying to figure out who your playmakers are, okay, and our job is to try to get it in their hands as much as you can. I think Marian's right there at the top of the list, so we've tried to find creative ways to give them, and our staff has done a really nice job. Everybody on our staff, all the way down from Natron being helping with the running backs, the analysts and GAs. I mean, we all contribute, and which obviously I have to make the decision at the end of the day what we're going to carry and what's too much and so forth. But I think the point is we try to get the ball to our playmakers as much as we can. And he's one of those guys. And last year you mentioned that he caught 20-something 30 balls last year. Is that right? Yeah. So I think that's about where we want him to be because as many times as he can touch it, usually good things happen. And last year we had some different options too. So he. He might not have been as far as throwing it, been the first option, but really like what he's doing. I think he's shown that he can really run routes, make play. He caught the angle route Saturday. He can route run. He can pass protect. I think he's an every down back at the next level as well. So it's good to see that, and we'll continue to try to do it for sure.
Of course, shown durability, if you will, kind of throughout his career. He's already at the 1,000-yard mark, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess how have you observed the way he's managed the workload, to this point in the season with how much, touches?
Yeah, he's a unique guy because I've never been around a guy like him. He's really no drama, doesn't say a whole lot, practices every rep he gets in practice full speed. It's really impressive to watch him. And if you think, I've been around a few guys that have been that way and they stick out because they're the same every day, right? There's no really ups and downs and peaks and valleys. He's just really steady. He's very confident, I think, in himself, and it's really a calming thing from a coordinator standpoint for a guy that is going to show up every day and give you everything he's got, and he does that. And I think you're seeing that each and every week, and we got to keep trying to find ways to get him the ball.
Looking at FSU, Coach Brown said that their defensive front is the best that you guys will have seen thus far this season.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at them, obviously their record isn't the best, but what makes them good on that side of the ball?
Yeah, they got really good players. I mean, for sure, the front is, like Coach said, is one of the most impressive fronts we've seen for sure. They always do, though. They're very athletic. They play extremely hard. Their scheme's good. They're an athletic defense. They're not going to give you anything. They're going to make you earn it. They're going to challenge you out on the perimeter with their DBs and their linebackers, and then the front is good enough with four guys really to cause a lot of problems. Just the little I've seen so far is, that front with just four guys can cause problems without having to add extra guys and pressures and so forth. So that's always a luxury if you're a defensive coordinator. If you can get pressure on the other team without really blitzing, then that helps you in coverage. So I think it's a typical Florida State looking team to me, and really I'm just watching the defense. So they're very impressive. I mean, if you look, they haven't given up many points. So we're going to have to really have our A game ready to go.
Have studied or gotten into your study of their defense, it seems like, I don't have the numbers, but it seems like they've given up a ton of explosives.
I wouldn't say a ton. I think really if you look at different parts. Yeah, you know what? I think when you look at how many points they've given up, though. Yeah, you might be right, but yeah.
Yeah, there's some stats.
I hadn't seen many of them yet, but maybe I'm just hadn't watched enough film yet. I'm gonna keep looking though. I'm hunting them, but no, I think
What do you think the reason may be there for that?
I don't really know. I think what I think is everybody that you play has the capability of getting explosives at some point. But I think when I see them, I see a team that's really athletic and going to really challenge you. That's what sticks out in my mind, just in the little I've watched so far. And like I mentioned, their front is really good. I think their linebackers are really good too. Number 9, the Will linebacker is a really good player, very active. So, I don't see that, but I'll trust you on it, and I'll keep looking for sure.
It's the numbers.
Yeah.
Chip, I'll be back.
Send me a few plays if you don't mind that you think will hit. Yeah. You know what? He's been one. Yeah, it was a really good move. I mean, he's been lobbying to come over and run the ball for us too in short yardage. So, what a great play! That was really exciting to see that. The most exciting thing for me was watching the guys from up top just chase him, and trying to help him. And I think Amari threw a great block for him, 17. So that was fun to see. And those things when they created some turnovers Saturday, which really helped us as an offense, and that's exciting to see. And they're very capable, and really, that was a big-time play by Javari. Yeah, and the stiff arm, was impressive as well. So
Switch hands with the ball.
did he really? I didn't see that. So hey, he is definitely one of the most athletic guys on our defense. Yeah. Okay, I'll go back and watch that again.
Miles per hour there, whatever he did.
Yeah.
Or didn't hit. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm going to check it, and then I'll check Jacoby's, and we'll see who's faster between those two guys. So. I think he is in better shape. Yeah, he's I think the time he was off, I think, was hard on him, and he's come in and committed to diet and working out a little better, and I think he is a little faster maybe than he originally was, but he's a good athlete, and I think what he's done, the end of the Georgia Tech game and even yesterday a little bit, just making some runs when it calls for it, I think it's been really good. Go ahead.
I have the great debate in fans and everywhere is play calling versus execution. As an offensive coordinator, where do you stand on those percentages?
Well, every play that I call, I hope it scores. Okay, I think that would be my first statement. No, I think it's a combination. I think definitely you want to get your guys the best put them in the best position to score. Okay, and some schemes are good certain weeks because of the looks you're getting, and some aren't. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. But I think execution is a huge part of it, and then. But it's not just on the players. Like, what goes into the execution? Did we give them all the looks that week so they can execute it? Did we prepare them for it? Are we asking them to do something that we can't do very well? That's not something we do well. So we can have a great play, but if that's not our strength and what we can do, then it's not going to be good. Is the quarterback comfortable with it? I do a lot of things with the quarterback of, hey, if you don't like it, it don't matter if I like it because I'm not standing out there, running the play. And I think that's important too, and it breeds confidence for our players when we can give them things that they feel confident doing. And I think that's the challenge each and every week. You play good defenses, you play good schemes on the other side, but also is it something we can execute? For instance, somebody they played, it may not be a good play for us just because it was good for so-and-so, it may not be our strength. So I think that's the challenge as a coordinator, and, I think putting your players in the best position but also doing it in something that's realistic for your team is important.
You mentioned Jake Johnson was probably going to have to step up in Bryson's absence. How would you rate his performance against Virginia?
Yeah, he's really improved. His physicality is one of the things that Freddie, I know, has challenged him on, is being more physical, run game and so forth, which is going to be a big part down the stretch here. Is we got to get him to fill in those. Bryson's known for being athletic and being able to get out and make plays, but he also he's underrated blocker because he was such a good pass receiver. But I think Jake's very capable. Jake's accepted that challenge, and I think Saturday, if you go back and watch the game closely, he did a lot of really nice things of playing with good pad level and being physical, and that's important. That's going to be important for us as we continue this drive down the stretch, because run the football is what we have to do. We understand that, and Jake's a big part of it. All right. Thank you, guys.